The current state of gaming is pretty poo-poo stinky, in my opinion. I feel like one of those old people that's like, oh, the video games aren't as good as they were back in my day. We had Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, and now they got these games called Call of Duty and all this garbage. That's exactly how I feel, because no game seems very fun. Everything just seems stale, overdone, and just not even fully developed, with so many glitches in it, so many bugs, that you would think you're watching A Bug's Life. It's absolutely insane. And recently, a little indie gaming development company that you might have heard of before, called Bethesda Studios, announced one of their first new IPs in 25 years, called Starfield, and I am absolutely ecstatic for it. This is my live reaction to when I first seen this game announced and what it was going to be. Yippee! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! I was very excited, if you couldn't tell, because this game has everything that I ever have hoped for in a video game: space-related, exploration, planets that have life, and overall just a universe that feels and looks complete. I say looks and feels because the game isn't actually out yet. All we have to go on is trailers and gameplay footage, which in the past we know isn't the best thing to base your expectations off of. Point in case, cough cough, Cyberpunk 2077. I pre-ordered that game and I was more disappointed than a kid opening up a Christmas present on Christmas that looks like an Xbox, but it turns out they actually just put like a shirt or something inside the box of an Xbox to subvert your expectations and ruin Christmas for that kid forever. Now I'm going to show you a bit of the game just so you can understand what's going on in case you haven't seen it yourself.
Human settlements throughout the galaxy could be at risk. We are not stopping. Whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever.
It looks absolutely amazing. There's going to be a story. It's going to be massively open world because you're literally exploring the universe. Planets that you can land on. Every single planet, I believe, you can go and land on. Although, I will say, not all of them are going to have life and things to do. The dude, what is his name? Todd, the Bethesda CEO guy, said that 90% of the planets aren't going to have any forms of life on them. Only 10% will have life, but the other 90% you can still like use for resources and just run around on them and whatnot. But that kind of did put a little bit of a damper. It kind of rained on my parade a little bit because I feel like it might make the game feel empty just a tad. And that was the issue with the games like No Man's Sky when it first came out. It felt empty. It felt barren. It felt like nothing was going on. And this game, like from the trailer and whatnot and all that, it looks like there's a lot going on. There's going to be a story and whatnot to follow. Bethesda's pretty good at making stories. So there's a lot of hope, a lot of expectations. But those expectations could definitely be shattered, and not in a good way. And if we take a look at the Steam page here, the game comes out in 9 days. But what I really wanted to show you was the... Sorry, I almost threw up on myself. Jesus Christ. Whew. Keep trucking. The system requirements are going to be absurd. The minimum is a Ryzen 5 2600X or Intel i7 6800K with 16 gigs of RAM and an AMD Radeon RX 5700 or NVIDIA GeForce 1070 Ti. And the recommended is a Ryzen 5 3600X or Intel i5 10600K, 16 gigs of RAM, or an AMD Radeon RX 6800 XT or a GeForce RTX 2080. So you're going to have to harness the power of the sun into your PC to run this puppy. You have to be like Oppenheimer. In my opinion, just because I'm like a real space geek, this is almost as exciting as a game like GTA 6. It looks, if it lives up to everything that it promises, it could be one of my favorite games of all time. Because I love the space genre. I love exploration. I love, like, you know, exploring things, doing missions, a good story. Mainly just the setting being in space, being able to explore all of the universe here. That's really what's selling me on this. And if they can deliver on even like half of that, I think I would be a very satisfied customer. But if they, however, don't follow through on this, and there's so many glitches and bugs at the beginning that you just can't even function, like the game is like Cyberpunk at the beginning, it's just unplayable pretty much, I'm going to be feeling like Mr. Krabs without his shell, just weak and embarrassed. Absolutely just hand on head regretting making this video because I'm saying I'm giving it a lot of hope. I'm saying that it's going to be good. I'm expecting it to come out actually functional and playable. I'm Bethesda has a pretty good record. Fallout 76 kind of sucked on launch, and they also banned my account for no reason, even though I pre-ordered it. But other than that, Bethesda has a really good record. They're a good company for the most part. So I'm really putting them on a pedestal here. Really putting my neck out for them. So just to recap, the game mechanics look good. The world looks absolutely amazing. It looks way too good to be true almost, which is why I'm scared. It's why I'm not pre-ordering. At this point, ever since like Call of Duty Ghost, I do not pre-order games. I wait till they release. I let other people pre-order them and other people buy them. And then I go and purchase the game based off of gameplay and reviews that I see. Yes, I become a sheep. I follow the herd. Like, for example, Madden. People that buy Madden every single year expecting and hoping for a new game are just full of hopium. They're full of copium. I was one that was expecting Madden to maybe be decent this year on PC since it was going to be next gen, but it sucked again because it's EA and it's Madden. They always suck. They have sucked for like the past 8 years. And they're going to continue to suck for the next 8 years because people are still buying it. Anyways, that's enough about that rant. Back to Starfield here. It looks amazing. The universe is amazing. The setting's amazing. The company that's making it, for the most part, is amazing. They made some really amazing single-player story games. And this one, I'm hoping, is another amazing single-player story game. I have more hopes for this than I do for my future. So that's a pretty high bar there. A pretty high hurdle to jump. The only thing that really scares me is the fact that only 10% of the planets are going to have life on them. I feel like that's my biggest concern. Not my only concern, but the biggest concern there. Because it might feel a tad bit empty if you have an open world game, but only 10% of the open world planets have life on them that make it feel like it's actually a world. Because the other 90% is just going to be like barren wasteland. And I get they're probably doing that, or they said they're doing that for like a top of realism. Because like the actual universe, there's not life on every planet. But once again, this is a video game. This isn't real life. This is escapism from the real world. But also I get that it's probably a lot more technically challenging to have every single planet have some form of life or some type of thing on there. So I do understand both sides of the coin. I wish it was more than 10% because 10% feels a tad bit low. But other than that, that's really all I had to say. I just wanted to talk about this game. Wanted to put my whole cock on the table. Knock on wood. Say that it's going to be good. Sorry, knock on wood that it's going to be good. Had to think about your mom real quick. And other than that, I'll catch you in the next one. There's also this little website here I wanted to show you. It's called Starfield Sandwich, and it drops a sandwich every 5 minutes until Starfield releases. And they recently added this little dude in here as of like yesterday. It's a lot of sandwiches too. So we're closing in on Starfield and we're getting to see some sandwiches pile up. Some dude named Blurbs made this, so thank you, pal.